My name is Michael Gutierrez with 606 Brokers. Many say that I have the best job in the world, and I couldn't agree more. As a native Chicagoan, I think I know a thing or two about the city that raised me, a city with 77 communities. And if you know anything of Chicago history, you'll know that it's known for its amazing people, and nothing fascinates me more than the people of this city and their stories. So join me in another episode of In Your Neighborhood with Mike the Realtor. Little Italy, Chicago, a community that's been predominantly Italian since the mid-1800s. By 1927, Italians owned most of the businesses in the area. I was curious to know more about this wonderful community and culture that I should have visited more often as a child. And what better time to visit Little Italy than at the Taylor Street Festival? Meet Mike the Fly Garcia. Fly was not only born and raised in this neighborhood, but it's the neighborhood where he discovered his love for boxing. I couldn't wait to hear the stories he had to tell. As Mike the Realtor, it's always been important to me that people know I genuinely care about our neighborhoods and our cultures. You see, throughout our city, it's the people's stories woven in the thread of each block that make Chicago so vibrant and inviting. I wanted to get out and meet some of them neighbors and hear some of them stories for myself. So it only makes sense to visit Little Italy's oldest hardware store. Hardware store's been here for 100 years. Home Depot has nothing on this. Meet Paulie. You see, Paulie isn't like the other guys that charge you $5 for a key that won't work or overwhelm you at the checkout aisle with some do-it-yourself anxiety attack. You know why? Because it was out of respect. Wait, where am I going with this? Oh, now I remember. Tell me a little bit of history. What's one thing that you can remember about Taylor Street, even as a kid?
It's always been the best neighborhood in the city. You know what I mean? Because we had a lot at one time. Little Italy went from Western all the way to Halsted. But when the hospital came and the school came, it kind of closed us in a lot. But we still have, our heritage.
For myself,
here.
being a North Sider and visiting Little Italy, I still consider Little Italy Halsted to Western.
I know they do, but it's not that way anymore.
Sure. Yeah, it's changed a lot.
It's changed a lot. And we got more students here.
Sure.
Because of the availabilities of apartments. I never had an issue with anybody. It was always Cherugis is off limits. To anything that happens. And that was from my father, grandparents, the whole shot, I went to school with a lot of these guys. I went to Gordon Tech.
Hey, he's a Gordon Tech Ram.
Yeah, well, I graduated when the Ram, I think, was still a baby. But anyway, I went to school with a lot of these guys. And by that, how do you not become friends?
That's right. That's right. Well, Paul, thank you for being part of Little Italy. Thank you for opening your doors.
Paul, thank you, buddy.
Thanks. Our next stop is Mike's longtime friend and chef of the iconic Italian restaurant Rosebud. We're about to have some real, authentic Italian food. Watch it. Let's see what Chef Steve has for me.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I don't want it. See?
Thanks. Oh, I need a napkin.
Don't need no napkin. Come on.
Oh, look at this.
Hi, Dan.
Look at this, guys. Meatball sandwich.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat it. We're gonna give a little pasta there. A little rigatoni. What do you think? Huh? You come back, I'll give you a bunch of them to go home with you.
I was growing eager to sit with Fly and learn more about his career and his life in Little Italy. They called him Fly because of his quickness in the ring. He retired in 1998 with an impressive record of 26-0, two-time Golden Glove champion, and was recently inducted into the Illinois Boxing Hall of Fame. This is why. When did you start boxing and what got you into boxing?
I probably started when I was about 10, 12 years old. Again, growing up over here on Taylor Street, we hung at the Park Districts a lot. Sheridan Park was right down the street from me. We played football, floor hockey, basketball, you name it, we did. But there was a guy there, Primo La Casa, who would teach boxing 3 nights a week. And all my friends, we signed up for everything. And first day there, you put the mouthpiece on, gloves, and they match you up with a kid and you're sparring. But it was kind of cool. And from that point on, from there, Rocky was out. A fighter from my neighborhood, Lucky Capuano, was a professional boxer, light heavyweight. The whole neighborhood would go see him. My uncle had a restaurant called Mama Sue's. They'd get like 3 or 4 Greyhound buses. And
Full of kids?
No, people from the neighborhood. They would be by the bar drinking and eating and then go support Lukey. It was mostly men.
Wow.
And then they brought the kids and whatnot, and seeing that the excitement for the whole neighborhood cheering him on, it kind of turned me on. And again, then you see Rocky, the same thing, are cheering for Rocky. It's something kind of cool when you're doing something one-on-one. Love team sports, but this is all on you.
So how old were you, like, when you knew, I want to box? I want to make this a career.
Probably from the first time I put the gloves on. I really liked it that much, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And did you have an inspiration, like someone to take you under their wing and say, I see something special in Fly?
Well, the thing is, like I said, Primo La Casa started me, but then this other guy, Bob Foley, who happened to be my idol's uncle through marriage, he was training some of the kids from the neighborhood at the CYO, the old CYO on Jackson, Racine. So some of the older guys were going there. My cousin, I started going with them, hanging out, and little by little, the guys were dropping out, but I stuck with it. And Bob picked me up every day and took me to the gym, and even when I turned pro, he picked me up and took me to the gym every day.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. So many people don't know that you actually fought Oscar De La Hoya.
Yeah, back in 1989 National Golden Gloves. See, when you win the Golden Gloves in the open division in your city, I think there's like 32 or 33 cities that host it. Fighting in Chicago, he was in California. When you win the Chicago Golden Gloves, they got the team that represents Chicago to go to the Nationals. Usually it's always like in early summer or late spring, like in May, and different cities host it. Years ago in the 60s, it was always at Chicago Stadium every year. The
House that Jordan built.
No, Muhammad Ali built out of the people.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Because he fought there.
Sure.
But they used to have it there every year in the 60s, but then they started hosting it in different cities. And again, we were Team Chicago back in '89. I was 125 representative. So the first night I beat a kid from Minnesota, Oscar beat a kid from Milwaukee. Second night we could be paired.
Wow.
And he beat me on a 3-round decision. And
3 rounds?
Yeah. Well, in the end it was only 3 rounds.
Okay.
But he ended up winning the tournament, and from that point on, back in '89, after he won the National Golden Gloves, they already predicted him. That's how much he shined in that tournament to go to the Olympics in '92 and win the gold medal. I mean, that's how much he shined.
So
He was like special.
So you were an amateur, he was an amateur.
Yeah, time.
And then after you lost to De La Hoya, you went pro. But what happened in between you losing to De La Hoya and then going pro? I know you took a break of some sort.
Yeah, I took a little break again. You know, you get tired of things, you want to hang out with your friends, and you know, you missed out on something. I took a little break, and then my father got sick, and he passed away in June of 1990. And
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you. It kind of made me realize how short life can be. I mean, one minute you're here and never think that's going to happen. I was only 22 years old when I lost my father, and still love boxing. So I like, you know what? Even if I had one pro fight, at least I fulfill my dream. And even as a little boy, I said that if I could have one pro fight, I'll fulfill my dream. And luckily, I turned pro in '92. I came back, won the Golden Gloves again in '92. My trainer's like, let's go to Golden Gloves again. Win that. Hopefully, if we go to Nationals, if you win that, at least they'll know who you are. You might make more money turning pro. And it didn't work out that way. We ended up losing again in the Nationals. I won my first fight. And that year, they hosted it in Chicago, which was nice, at the Rosemont Horizon.
Nice.
So I won my
You
first
got to fight in front of your home.
Yeah, I
town.
lost to a kid from New York City who went to the championship. But then in that fall, October 3rd, I think 1992, I turned pro.
Speaking of pro, you're 26 and 0.
Yeah.
26 and 0.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive.
Thank you.
What made you call it quits?
There was a couple of different reasons. I kept breaking my hands. I had really small hands, and between that, my elbows would give me problems. job-wise, I was working at the produce market, which I'm still there now. But I had that. My son was born, and then I opened up a restaurant. So a lot of things were a factor. Put too much on my plate, I think. The restaurant probably wasn't the smartest thing, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And it was something that I didn't think it was going to develop the way it did.
Yeah.
I had 2 partners. We all shared space, but it helped out. But again, there was a number of factors, and I wasn't really making money with boxing. The most I ever made was $1,500. I made more money selling tickets than my fights. And back then, there was no FaceTime, YouTube, all this stuff, social media where you could try to expose yourself or whatever.
Push the tickets too.
So again, we were out there hustling, selling tickets, and it just wasn't clicking, and something had to give.
Right, and how do you give back to the boxing community today?
Well, like I said, I fell in love with it still, and still worked out at a gym. And then back in 2003, opened up a boxing gym with a partner of mine, and little by little, with the white collar people coming in, and the amateurs, and then David Diaz was one of my first pro fighters that I helped out.
Yeah, I know David.
And
he's actually a realtor too.
yes, David one time was working out, and his manager at the time, Mr. Strickland, was my cut man. Mr. Strickland and my trainer were good friends, very good friends, and they were at the gym, and I seen David doing something, and I gave him a little instruction to do it, and he liked what I said. And years later, when we had the gym, he asked me to hold the mitts for him one day. He liked the way I held mitts, and Strickland knew me, so it was kind of easy. We gelled into it.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then it snowballed. So
that's when you know that it's meant to be, right?
Yes,
you guys click and you
Strickland
work well.
was my guy since I was an amateur, so
wow,
it was nice.
That's nice. And so today you're still
training amateur guys. No pros right now. Time-wise, kind of hard, but amateurs I still like doing it. So I got a couple pros a couple amateurs I'm training right now.
Well, you were an amateur,
yeah.
Okay? And so do you love to give back to the guys that are coming up, right?
Love being in the gym, watching the guys work out.
What about women? Are they training women?
Yes, yeah. In my gym, we did have women taking the classes, and believe me, some classes there was more women than men because, again, they like the results, and they're not looking to fight, but they just wanted to work out, and they loved it.
As far as Little Italy, growing up on Taylor Street. Now, I thought you were half Italian.
Yeah, no, I'm all Mexican.
You're all Mexican in an all Italian culture and context. How was that?
Well, growing up, there was mostly Italian, but again, there was a lot of Hispanics, Mexicans, some Irish. But again, we didn't look at it that way. We were all family and friends. We all looked out for each other.
Beautiful.
Everyone's parents were there. Again, no one ever looked at somebody different, like, oh, he's a spick or whatever. Everyone treated everybody great.
Sure.
Whoever your house, by someone's house, Sunday or whatever day, parents are always feeding you. Always make sure you had something to eat, something to drink, something. Hospitality. Everybody here was family. And again, we're still like that. The friends I grew up with, since I was 10 years old in grammar school, I'm still friends with them to this day.
If there's anything you wish you could tell your fans that they knew when you were a fighter, if there's anything you can tell them now, what would that be?
Probably if I could have dedicated more time. Again, I had to work because I needed the insurance for my son and for myself. We needed insurance. Boxing wasn't provided for me at the time. I didn't have a manager, so if anything, if I could change something back, if I could have more time, or again, I could dedicate myself more to boxing. Maybe been a sparring partner for some of these contenders, champions, where I got the exposure. Went to their camps, someone see me, the exposure gets out there, and that's how sometimes you get a helping hand.
When you took off the gloves for good, do you feel like it was premature?
It's hard to say. You could say yes, you could say no. Do you still wish you could do it? All the time. You always wish you want to do something that you love doing. As a kid, to me, it's like Peter Pan. It keeps me that young again. That's why I still work out to this day.
So, Mike, before I leave, what is this game that you're going to go play? Because I know that you're in charge of it. What's this called? What is this game
called
about?
Mora. It's an Italian game with numbers. It's like odds and evens. It's from 2 to 10.
Okay.
And they've been playing it for centuries, but the older guys from they would play it, and we would watch them, and it like snowballs. So our generation, the younger generation. So it's a game where, for instance, you throw 2 fingers out, right?
Okay.
And you say 4.
Okay.
You're anticipating I'm going to throw 2. I might throw 3 fingers out and say 5. So you say you're 4 with 2 fingers. I say 5. 5. See, now I got the point. 3 plus 2 is 5.
So you're hoping that I throw out the deuce.
So now let's just say you throw 5 fingers out and you say 6.
Right.
And I'm
hoping you're going to throw 1.
Right. And I'm going to say 1 and say 2. Like, okay. Say you're 6.
Okay. 6.
I say quat, which is 4.
4.
I'm hoping you got the point.
Because it's 6.
Yes.
All right. So let's just do 1 for the heck of it, right? Because I'm going to win. Before we leave, I'm going to win.
We're going to do this in English, right? Okay. Ready?
Ready?
6.
5.
Okay. But you can't throw 5. If you throw 5, you got to say 6 or above. 6 to 10.
So I just
right. If you say 5,
lost.
4. No, you didn't lose. But again, you just keep going.
All right.
Ready? 6. Okay, keep going. 7. Okay. 2.
8.
10. You got me.
Got it.
You got it.
I beat the fly.
You got me.
I
You
beat
got
the
me.
fly.
You got me.
You see that?
But see, I can't play in English. It's got to be in
It's got to be
Italian.
Italian. Oh, my
It throws you
God.
off.
Throws you off. Mike, thank you so much for your time, man.
Appreciate
I really,
it.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I wish you nothing but the best success in your career and in your marriage with your family. All right, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Have a good day.
Absolutely. You too. With all the big corporations arriving and property values on the rise, the people of this community have bonded even closer, too close to be divided. All things come to an end, but true friendships never die. I'm trying a Nazone. Let's see how it looks on me. Mike Nazone. But when I come here, I feel Italian.
Right.
Because it's...
I'm Latino also.
No way!
I was born in South America, Colombia, but I play in Italian.
Look at that. Oh, you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
You're
thank
good.
you. Bogota.
Bogota?
Yeah, I was born there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's...
But I love the I was raised by Italians.
Sure.
Love Italian people. Love the culture, and food, everything about it.
That's awesome.
It's really
Me too.
awesome. I mean, I'm from New York, so obviously I'm gonna say New
go there
York is the
often.
best.
Watch the
But
Yankees.
Chicago's definitely number 2. You know what I mean?
That's like me. I gotta say that Chicago pizza's the best, right? Chicago pizza's the best. He would beg to differ. You see that? The fabric of what Little Italy comes from is from people like that. People that were born and raised in this neighborhood. People that will not take another name in lieu of Little Italy. It's Little Italy. Whether it's Taylor and Western to Taylor and Halsted, or whether they want to call it University Village. But for the people here, it will always remain Little Italy. And for Mike the Realtor, it will always remain Little Italy. So long, everybody. I got my jardineras.